This one is, how much do I have to pay an agent to represent me when I buy a house? In most cases, the buyer doesn't actually pay the buyer's agent a commission directly. Now, the seller typically is going to pay both the listing commission and a procurement commission. So when they sign an agreement, they're paying a listing broker a commission for representation, and they're also going to offer a procurement commission, which is offered to whoever brings or procures a buyer to the transaction. So a listing agent may find a buyer. In that case, they would keep both sides of that commission, the offered commission and the representation commission. Or if a selling agent, otherwise known as a buyer's agent, came along and brought a buyer, that procurement commission, that offered buyer's commission, would be paid to the buyer's agent. Now, it doesn't mean that a buyer's agent works for free. It just means that the seller is offering that to prevent the buyer from having to bring more money out of pocket. Just imagine after you brought all the money you had to bring for your down payment, for the appraisal, for earnest money, for inspections, that you also had to bring additional money to cover your real estate agent's cost. So back a long time ago, they decided it wasn't a fair playing field for buyers to have to pay that out of pocket, because buyers were not hiring buyer's agents at the time frequently. So they thought, in order to make the market more fair, that it would be ideal for the seller to be opted the opportunity to pay for the buyer's agent. Now, by doing so, we've increased the amount of buyer pool. People can get into buying a home a lot earlier and a lot easier. So I think it's a great working system. One thing you do have to know is that there may be instances where a buyer is required to pay for their agent's commission. Now, those times would be especially the last few years, where sellers had such a strong arm on the market that they were no longer offering to pay commission at all, or all of the commission for the buyer's agent. So that would put buyers in a position to either not buy the house or have to bring additional money to close to pay their agent's commission. Now, it's not very common that that happens, but that's why you should definitely have a written agreement with your agent, so that you understand what those costs are, and when those types of properties do come along, that you're able to have those conversations and prepare. It's not uncommon that even when there's a low commission that's offered, we can have a conversation with the other agent and say, hey, my buyer's unwilling to pay the additional amount in commission. We would totally write on this property if it was if the commission being offered matched what the market was saying, but it's not. And often, if that seller doesn't have multiple offers on the table, they come back and say, hey, would you be willing to do this? And then of course we negotiate and work it out from there. So don't think that it's an end all be all. And it's a very rare occurrence when buyers are in a position of having to bring money to the table to cover the cost of their buyer's agent.